Yes, everyone, what is going on? It is 4 o'clock. It is Monday. That can only mean one thing. Brew time.
What's wrong with this picture?
Whose fault's that? To be fair, I'm calm because I'm not really a brew guy like that. So,
I guess we'll have to wait for a brew.
put rum and coke in mine.
What's going on, man?
Anyway, cheers for joining us. Hope you're all having a good Monday.
At least get us a cup.
We saw the briefings this morning. How rude of me. I've got Jay Motti from the Scotty and Motti podcast.
Thank you, sir.
I've got Ronaldo fresh off just putting penalties away for Stretford.
Penaldo. Get going.
Right, so the title of it, I'm going to touch on the title in just a second, if that's all right with you two. And we are touching on that title, don't you worry about that. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about that and the issues therein. However, saw a couple of briefs this morning. Well obvious. Up Meccano. Tell us.
What did we say on the watch along?
Joe, I haven't seen Director of Football yet.
What did you had the bingo, didn't you? You had
bingo.
New signing, Director of
bingo.
Football, and yeah, I think, well, there was another one I can't remember.
Prime deflection, distraction.
Yeah.
They love it. They love it.
COVID, I think, was the other one we said. Oh, pandemic.
Although, some potential bad news. There's going to be a briefing tomorrow, not from Ed Woodward for a change, but from some fella called Boris Johansson, who lives in London.
Who's he play for?
Don't know. I think he's played for England once. There's a very real chance that Lockdown 2 is coming.
The sequel.
Gonna be honest,
Lockdown
the writing of the
2,
first one
Lockdown harder.
was a little bit all over the show.
There is
I'm
no.
expecting
No.
Right.
There is
For starters, remember we're live,
No,
right?
no,
And remember that sometimes the craziness, right, can't be edited out.
Sometimes put a lid on it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna go
We're
too
going to tighten the
mad.
box, and we're going to never talk about it again. All right.
All I'm saying is there's going to be
We got a done button.
There is going to be no lockdown 2.0. That's basically all I'm saying. Because
All right. Is that a challenge?
it's not a challenge, it's just fact. We can't honestly afford to have another one. I don't think the government, the country, or people themselves can afford to have another one. So it comes a point
But
where
we've got sort of lockdowns, like localised, because they're not just make them bigger.
not really. What did he say the other day? 6 people limit in gaffs. When in reality it wasn't. People could still do what they liked. And I think there was a quote from Boris saying, "You can still have house parties though, as long as they're not animal style."
Good old mates, you don't let us
What do you
down,
mean,
does it?
animal style?
I don't know what he meant by that. I think it was just a bit of a Tory.
That's a proper Tory eating thing, innit?
Tory.
Remember them ones, the animal style ones? Not like that. Everything else is fine. Hang on. Wait.
Are they keeping ground shooting going now?
Yes.
Because me and you will be deviled, wouldn't we? We couldn't go ground shooting. It's like our main thing.
I love how that was like a specified exclusion. Like, no, you can't do that. Can't do that. Oh, dying relatives. No, you can't see them. Can I go grouse shooting? Yeah. Because let's be honest, nobody like us does that shit.
No.
They're all tweed wearing fucking Tories who does grouse shooting.
Yeah.
Like baggers.
There's nobody.
Baggers goes ground shooting.
There's not a single person who does grouse shooting that's ever been paid by the hour.
It's all part of this pandemic, mate.
Right.
Drink. Right then. Paddy Evra.
Your mate, you're busy.
Loved him.
Wait, have you got his number?
Did bang a text out as soon as I heard
course
that and
he's
was
got
like, oi,
You don't like to talk about it. Stop
do you want to come on and talk about that? Ed. Anyway, he's gone in on a lot of things, actually. Do you want to tell the audience what's gone off?
Basically, what he was talking about is just the kind of what everyone else has been angry about in United is about the Glazers, how we've kind of been run at the top, and it's basically was going on about how kind of the traditions or the kind of legacy of United is kind of tailing away, so to speak, because ever since David Gill and Sir Alex Ferguson's left the club, I know it looks like a little bit of a shot, Ed Woodward, but he was mainly focusing on the likes of Matt Judge and the people that kind of
He went in on Matt Judge, did he?
Yeah.
Really?
He went in on
But
Matt
I've seen
Yeah.
clips. I've not seen the whole 20 minutes because I've been running
Yeah.
around all day like a lunatic. So I'll sit down and watch it properly. But I have seen snippets, of course. And obviously the outrage. But, people agreeing with him, people saying it. Almost on the back of that, you see the Rio clip the other day where our Rio was on.
Yeah,
was
he
it
said
Jake
Woodward
Humphries?
come and just sat next to me and was like, anyway, you can fuck off.
Yeah.
And he's like, I remember that. Was you at that game? Southampton away,
Yeah.
2-2, end of
No,
the Moyes.
Not the
train
Moyes,
wreck.
not the Moyes one. No.
Well,
Not
we
into
had a
that
conga
season,
in
sorry.
the away end on the last day of the season. It's the worst finish like most of us had seen ever. And we had a conga in Southampton away. And I remember Vidic came over and said goodbye.
Did Vidic, is that when he got elbowed in? Or was that a different one?
It might have been actually, yeah. And he was off to Inter, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But we knew. So he'd come and had he'd come and said farewell to the crowd. I think he threw his shirt in there and all that lot. He'd come and clap the crowd and he had a farewell. Rio didn't know. He was going into the end of his contract and he said Woodward just comes and sits in. And he just looks at him and goes, yeah, anyway, you're free to go. I mean, and he's like...
Oh yeah, was that when he was kind of angry about the fact that he didn't get pre-warned so he could kind of say bye to the dinner ladies, the kit men and kit women?
Rio was there for, 12, 13 years?
A good set of
2001, is it? I'm thinking.
1 or 2, I can't remember which one it was.
Him and Stam just missed each other, didn't they, I think? And then this is 2014, is it? Yeah? So, at least, like you say, 11 and 12 years. No ways to treat anyone, really, is it?
Not
in any walk of life. Whatever your job, let alone
Rio Ferdinand,
a complete legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legend.
100%. And he was saying, what really upset me about that clip when you saw it, when he was talking about it, was he was saying how he thought there might be a job maybe at United and the coaching staff, something like that. And instead it's like, hands up if you're going to be here next season, not you, Rio. Like, there's just no way you're telling him.
We are gonna, not you. Really.
You're not going to lose your job. You're not going to lose your job.
Kind of
you know. You're still thinking about the bad news, aren't you? The good news is, I've been promoted. Bad news is, some of you are going to lose your jobs. I mean, it's a joke, but it isn't very funny because, you don't treat people like that. This is Manchester United. We have this thing of, we are a club that cares. We are a club like a bit of a family. And that's just getting destroyed.
Rio's a red through and through. Like,
of course he is, man.
I don't think he watches every video, but I know when we've gone and interviewed him, he's gone, how's it going? How's Maka? Like, he knows and he watches this shit. When I first met fucking Evra, he told me Rio and Carrick always posting our videos into a player's WhatsApp group. I'm still holding his hand, shaking his hand, and I'm going, wait, hang on, okay, a minute, what?
It's like when Maka met him, when Maka met Evra, he was saying, "Oh, full-time devil there."
Definitely got one eye on it.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's great to see that. And
Evra and Rio were two that aren't from here, but fucking got it.
Got it straight away.
Those two got it more than most. Those two.
So you gets it. Mitz gets it.
Mitz gets it.
He absolutely gets it. Look at that. What an absolute star.
Wait a sec, Mitz.
I am one of the main commentators for this
Stretford
Paddock FC
channel, so that's okay. You just said you didn't want one.
I got you some water.
Oh,
Water. Wow.
Water? I said rum and coke.
Talk about the short straw.
I said rum and coke.
Water.
Are we doing
Crazy.
rum and coke?
Hey,
Captain
got
Morgan.
a bit of water for you.
Mitz offered me a can at 10 o'clock this morning. Didn't immediately say no either.
Exactly. He knows you, so it's not like the most ridiculous thing that he's done.
Well, no, those two got it, and those two hurt. And I had the best football conversation I've ever with any human being was with Evra after he'd finished playing for Marseille in a Europa League game, and we was in his car going back 2 hours sitting in traffic with Evra. And it was almost like, he didn't say it, but it was like, ask me anything you want.
Yeah.
And I asked him everything. I asked him about Suarez. I asked him about Moyes. I asked him about certain players in the first team. And he was the most honest you could ever want to be. I don't think he's as honest on camera often, although what we've just seen is, I think he's being very honest with. But sometimes players hold a little bit back. He didn't hold anything back. And something surprised me in a good way. Something surprised me in a bad way. I thought he'd go in on Moyes. He didn't. He just said, I try to protect that guy. But he gets it. He gets it in a different way. And a lot of people go on about the British core of United. I see a lot of fans moaning about, oh, Brexit FC, why don't we fucking buy British players and stuff like that? Evra was saying that we should, and I'm like, hang on, you're not a British local lad though, and you got it. And he goes, yeah, but you need to. He's like, when I was playing, he goes, you had Wayne, you had Scholesy, you had Giggsy, you had Rio. He goes, all of these lads understand the core. And I was like, well, you fucking understood it. You understood it more than fucking most. And he just sort of dismissed that. But he kept going on about the identity of United, the identity of United, the identity of United. And him coming out like this is because he feels it. Luckily, he's got the platform. Some of the ones that are working on Sky and stuff like that, and which obviously he is, I think they're a little bit afraid to really speak out. Some of them have got a bigger brand. Like, you're never going to see David Beckham, no matter what he thinks, come out and say these things. It's not his nature. Gary Neville's gone quite hard. Scholesy, I think, goes fairly hard. But it's good to see the likes.
Like, kind of showing like United.
Yeah, he tries to be a bit more
I
neutral.
think Roy
doesn't he?
Keane does it a little bit.
I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
Gary Neville also sort of protects owners because he's an owner, I think.
Yeah.
yeah, but Gary Neville, when it was rumoured that Jose was going to get sacked after the Newcastle game, went in hard, didn't he? On, but again, it was more like the hierarchy. I think he said than naming names. I know he didn't name Woodward, sorry, didn't he? And he was saying like, you play Championship manager or whatever, football manager with one of the world's biggest clubs. Stop it, and it resonated. And you could even argue that maybe the board were going to sack Jose and thought we better wait. What's up with you? You look like you used to something.
Just a strong brew.
You had it already. Do you know what?
He's got to drive home, you dickhead. You know he's getting pulled over.
No.
Oh my god! What, really? I'd be worried if he didn't.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Not after that. No.
I'll just say, have you
Uber time, no.
not seen BLM?
Oh. Fuck's sake. Like,
Ronaldo's going to be filming himself later.
but
Look at this.
it is good to see Evra coming out and saying stuff like this, and it is good to see Rio coming out and saying stuff like this because, I mean, Chucky was down here earlier.
He was, wasn't he? And
Chucky
we will
down
get
here.
him on soon. He blamed me for giving him too short notice. I was like, we went for Summit soon. I was like, oh, by the way, what are you doing in 3 hours? You want to come on a live show? He's like, what?
And we was going to bend his ear off about the 91 Cup final.
big time. But he said that he will do it next time
But
he's down.
Even we had a 10-minute chat in here, didn't we? And
Yeah,
even
you
then
two
he
were
was
having a
like,
big
"There's so
chat.
much that goes on you don't know about," and I'd love it if players was more honest about that. So often you get a great amount of time, and I can't wait till we get him on because I don't think he's got a filter.
No, he hasn't. Genuinely.
And I can't wait to hear some of the stuff that happened with Fergie, some of the other players, what he saw as because he was head of youth development for a long time, wasn't he?
I
Director of
can't
youth
remember the
development.
exact figure. It's something stupid, like 26 years at the club or something as player and coach. It's
insane,
ridiculous. I can't remember. No, Brian McClure, because he was
Oh,
obviously there. He was one of Fergie's first signings, and he was there as a coach up until as youth development. I think
About
into
2015 or something.
25th. Yeah, I think he was there with Brandon Williams, players like that who were there now, obviously playing the first team, so he knows these players. He knows what's gone down. And he's very, very
He
honest.
had a great message for Brandon.
Yeah, he did, actually. Yeah, you can give that Brandon privately. I don't think you need to give it him on air.
Not putting on it.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. And we was chatting outside as I walked him out, and he was telling me some other stuff. But he had a lot of praise for Brandon Williams and his attitude, and he told me a few stories that I'll let him tell you that sort of summed up what Brandon Williams is about and give me a lot of hope for him going forward. And you've got people like that care about the club, that care about the players at the club, that care about the youngster club, care about the youth officers of the club, emotionally attached to the club, and then over all of that, you've got these owners who do not give a toss. They just want to get as much money out of this club as humanly possible, and every penny they spend is only so they can bring 2 pennies back. That's it. So when you're sat here now looking at the season going, we're never going to challenge for a title, we're miles away from where we need to be, I think the only signings we're going to make, or the only progress we're going to make, and it's not even progress, is we might make the minimum amount of signings to try and make top 4. Hopefully, even that's in doubt.
Oh, man.
Massively
When there's
doubtful.
5 or 6 teams trying to shoot for the moon, and you're just trying to get to the top floor, you ain't going to do it. People are going to go ahead of you and fail. They might fail at being the best team in England, but they'll be ahead of you when you're only trying to be the 4th best team in England.
That is what's meant to happen, though. Every single season, you're meant to try and kick on.
Right. Is this conversation a conversation that's happened at either Carrington or on Zoom to Florida, right? Nowhere has Joel or Avi or whatever the bird's called ever said, how do we become the best club in the world?
Exactly.
Never. Right? Do you think Sheikh Mansour has ever said, how do we become the best club in the world?
Yeah.
Do you think them Scouse twats have ever had the conversation, how do we become the best club in the world?
Yeah, of course they have.
100%.
Do you think Roman Abramovich ever said to them lot, how do we become the best club in the world?
Definitely.
Exactly, right? So you're trying to compete with people who want to, and 3 out of 4 of them are going to fail, being the best club in England and ultimately the best in Europe and the world.
And just to, one sec, we know the reasons why City owners want to be the best club in the world. It's not because they had pictures of bloody Trevor Morley on the wall when they were a kid.
They have a clue who they were.
Yeah, it's to distract from
Was
some
it
of the
not King
horrible
Clancy?
things that are going on. Sorry, King Clancy. We know why Roman Abramovich probably decided to buy Chelsea. But you're right, there's a desire there to see those clubs succeed. At our club, there isn't. There's just a desire to keep making money out of it, to keep getting that cash cow going. You see the problems at the stadium that it needs redeveloping. It needs more than just a lick of paint. You've seen the problems with the squad that you need real investment, not really happening. you've seen the mismanagement that's gone on from top to bottom. And it's like, okay, during lockdown, you're saying, all right, they didn't furlough staff. We lit up the letters NHS on the sign. We did all this great stuff, which doesn't really, amount to a lot when you're thinking of how much money is going out of the club every quarter or every day, really. It's pretty scary.
What was that table? The table
From Swiss Ramble.
Yeah,
Since 2015, no
United.
owners in the Premier League have put in less money than ours.
and I was
And we're the biggest club in the Premier League.
They've defunded us.
Yeah.
with apparently a club that's apparently meant to have, should have aspirations and ambitions to be the best club in the world.
They like saying that we're the biggest club in the world. What does that mean?
And so what does it mean? It means
What does
We
that
fans want to see
us
us win things.
That
Compete at least.
660 million fans worldwide is such a flawed
don't
stat.
give me that.
They did a study, right, about like a lot of demographics, but it was like, I don't know the exact number of people they polled. Let's say it was 10,000. And they said to them, do you recognise this logo? Now, I think the terminology of that is massive. Because if I show you the Manchester United logo, you go, do you recognise this logo, Yuria? They put you down as a fan, right? Well, Liverpool fans will recognise the Manchester United logo. City fans will recognise the United logo.
Is that how they tailored it? Is that how
That's
they
how
tailored
they
the
did
survey?
it. Yeah, there's no way 10% of the earth are United fans, because surely 10% of the earth, there's a billionaire who's like, fuck these cunts.
Yeah.
Give it here.
This is the thing now as well. It's almost become completely untenable for anyone to buy. We're in that much debt that someone who's going to buy it has to take on this debt somehow.
Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos,
Yeah, and they're not gonna
Bill
do it.
Gates.
So you're
They're not gonna
talking
do it.
about absolute loaded.
Yeah,
Right.
And then,
We're
basically-
valued at $4 billion.
$4
To
billion.
get them to say, all right, go on then, you're probably going to have to offer them the $4 billion, offer to pay off their debt of
debt.
600-700 million, probably buy them a new boat, yeah?
Yeah.
Probably
Sweeten
like
them.
a bit of goodwill on top, at least 20%. So you're
Yeah.
looking at 5 or 6 billion just to get us to make. Right, if you take away the debt, you can probably make $1 billion every 8 to 10 years out of United as an owner, right? So that's a massive investment. You're talking about 40, 50-year investment for any owner to come in to make their money back. The only person who's ever going to do that is a lifelong fan who's just an unbelievable billionaire.
Yeah.
You're talking Jeff Bezos as a plaything, or you're talking a royal family from somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you are, and that begs the question. Would you be happy if someone from a questionable regime came in and took over the club?
Sometimes it could be better the devil you know. As bad as that is, and as horrible as owners as they've done, you could end up with Mike Ashley. Because at least they don't asset strip every good player we have. At least they don't do that.
Yeah.
Because Mike Ashley, I don't think he's just taken as much out of Newcastle just because of the size of the club.
But
I
even
think.
there, Newcastle, they made 2 signings this summer. Do you know what I mean? You're right.
So basically
He's a
everyone's-
horrible person, horrible owner. But even they've made more signings than us. Do you know what I mean? We're meant to be the biggest club. But I think unless they made another signing, we've now made the fewest signings of any Premier League club this summer.
Got to be top of some leagues.
Yeah.
Wait,
Exactly. After finishing 33 points behind the Scousers.
about it.
And you know what? That's still, I know I'm going about it. People have been in the comments, James obsessed with Scousers. I still come from a place where I want to see United challenging for the league and I almost expect it.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but when you've had 26 years of that happening, it sort of gets built into you. So yes, I do look at it and go, we finished 33 points behind the Scousers. We need to address that. And I'm
I don't get it,
angry
though.
when we don't.
As a club, we make a concerted effort to get back into the Champions League where we should be, like competing in Europe.
Stop shaking your leg, it's annoying.
I wondered what
So,
that was.
It was you. You was knocking me in the
I
knee.
wasn't
It's put me off.
not knocking you at
No, I've
all.
got no space. Shaking up my legs.
You're just making things
Say-
up.
You knock it. It's quite tight under it though. Likewise. but anyway, how can we then go from Europa to Champions League where we're going to be competing against better teams with better players, and then make the least amount of signings?
Funny, innit?
How does that? It doesn't correlate at all.
Is
doesn't-
it a genuinely do you think it's a business decision where they go, we're in the Champions League now, that's enough to bring in a certain amount of revenue, so there's no need for us to spend this amount?
Right.
We don't
do you
know
know
what.
what I
Let me,
mean?
how
let me
what
throw
they're
something
thinking
out
is.
there
'Cause
and let me finish it because
Not the brightest when it comes
it'll
to
get
this.
taken out of context and
Surely not, I don't believe that for a minute.
and people are going to make assumptions on fuck all basis. So basically, what was the winter? We signed Alexis Sanchez. That winter that we signed Alexis Sanchez.
2018 was it?
Right.
2019.
A bloke who's an agent rang me up and said, I want you to help put some news out. And I went, never done that before, right? Which is the truth. I went, okay, what news is it? And he said, Jose wants to get some positive PR out. I was like, I went, right. And he went, and he wants negative Glazer stuff. I went, well, I'm always been a negative Glazer stuff. Like,
It's pretty difficult for you to be more.
right, yeah.
pro
What do you want me to do?
Despite
And
what some people
he went,
may say on
and
Twitter.
I'll give you some transfer news. I said, all right, well, let's say the transfer news. And he was like, don't like Chris Smalling. His exact words was, Jose thinks Chris Smalling's a coward, he's going to try and get rid of him. He didn't like Luke Shaw, didn't like Tony Marshall. Shock. I'm like, right, this is really groundbreaking, mate. And what he was trying to say is, he says, I'll fill you in on what's on the crack. And he said, the Glazers, if it'll cost them 200 million to get in the Champions League and 500 million to win the league, they're like, there's your 200 million. That's all they're asked about. There is no ambition for them to be the best in the world. He said they want the Arsenal model. Consistently qualify, well, the former Arsenal model. Consistently qualify for the Champions League, compete at the biggest table, attract the biggest sponsors, but never win anything. And I went, well, surely you'd get more sponsors if you were in back-to-back fucking Champions League and had fucking Cristiano Ronaldo or the equivalent smashing them in every week. And he went,
Yeah.
That's what they want. And that's why Jose wanted to put it out there that the Glazers are hampering him. Because this is when he was trying to sign Danny Rose. Coincidentally.
Oh, the irony.
I know, yeah.
He was trying to get rid of him, and he was trying to bring in Danny Rose, and he wouldn't have it. And he was saying to him, Jose was trying to say, give me one more summer of established signings, and Woodward and that was trying to say to him, we like, again, ironically, Sessegnon. And Jose was like, I like Sessegnon, I need something established first. He's like, give me another summer of established players and then we'll go and sign all these youngsters that you want. And then when you see the type of signings that United are making, post him, you go, who really fucking does control what's going on at this football club? And does a director of football really need to fucking come in? Because we all like to think the manager's got the be-all and end-all. And if it's Jose Mourinho don't, no one does.
It's interesting you say that, and it's interesting about these signings because you look at the signings we've made under the managers we've had them. Now, Luke Shaw, like, sorry, didn't mean to insult you then, but like under Herrera, we were after.
Yeah.
When Moyes was there, and we carried on being after him when Van Gaal came in. So that was a long-term target by whom? Who's it? Because Moyes didn't.
Wasn't Herrera wasn't he like not even prime choice? Was it
Yeah. But like, that went on for 2 managers.
It was like a good Bilbao team at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was like Herrera, and then there was interest like
Munyain was the other one.
etc.
Torres apart Old Trafford.
Torres apart. I think one of their centre halves as well. They had a good team at that time, and I think it was Munyain, and it was Herrera was almost like a.
Was Lorente there? Am I misremembering it?
Yeah, as well. So. And that's when we obviously signed Herrera, but it did take a season or two
and
longer
you're
than it should
thinking,
have.
so who? And then Luke Shaw came in under Van Gaal, and you think, all right, has Van Gaal been watching Southampton?
Paul Pogba was Raiola came out and said, we've been working on this deal for 3 years. And you're like, hang on.
That's 3 different managers.
Yeah. That was when Moyes was here.
Yeah. So from Moyes to Van Gaal to Jose. And again, if you look at the signings we made under Jose, Mkhitaryan, he dropped for 3 months. Fred, he didn't start. So, do you know what I mean? And he's like, these are the signings that happened on his watch, and you think he didn't even want these players.
These are the kind of things that everyone was saying.
Who did want him?
These are the kind of things that everyone was saying. Everyone was like saying, look at the managers that have come into United in recent times and the CVs that they have, and how they actually performed at the club. And is it really down to them, or is it down to the way the club's been run and they've been backed fully, or is it a combination of the two? Kind of whatever was kind of reiterating when he was speaking earlier on his little rant.
I mean, you know, people always going about fan channels have a responsibility. We speak about this constantly. We have been doing for years. You can go back on YouTube, just Google it, Full-Time Devils Glazers, and you will see anti-Glazer rhetoric from all of us who've been on this channel constantly.
I took a Love United 8 Glazer flag to Afghanistan in 2006.
Mate, we've done it. You know what I mean? Exactly. You've been chucked out of training sessions you've been invited to because of your stance on the owners. Been barred from going into press conferences that we used to attend that we're not allowed to anymore because of anti-Glazer. You know, we keep doing it to blue in the face, but this, you know, we do have a big platform and I'm grateful for that and we'll continue to use it. But you need people like Evra. You need people with a bigger platform. You need people that, you know.
Well, at the end of the day, who are you?
Exactly. Do you know what I mean?
Paddy Evra is a guy that's worn the armband at this fucking club. He might even be on. It's on in that photo. You know, that's a man who's won fucking titles. That's a man who's won the fucking armband, and that is a man that has fucking bled red. I don't give a fuck where he was born, right? In fact, he's from Paris. I don't give a flying fuck because he is a red through and fucking through. and that is it. And more people like him need to speak because they will listen to Evra.
Yeah.
You know, one of the quotes I think from the thing earlier was, I had a fucking director from another football club go, "Oi, do you want to get hold of Matt Judge for us? He's not answering his fucking phone." And another thing, Evra had said, Pogba and Marshall wanted to leave, and he spoke. This is the last Jose summer, and he said, "I basically did the job of the director of football and told them, fucking stay here, you know, win at this club, fucking give it all for this club." And his exact words to us was, "I'm already doing the fucking job of a director of football." And they did offer them the job of director.
But it wasn't director of football job, was it?
It was an ambassador and a name title, but every other fucker's still in charge. And he was like, "It's not a real job."
Bit of tokenism.
He actually said to me, "I think Rio's going to take it." And obviously Rio didn't take it, but Evra thought Rio was taking it.
And you can imagine then, because then the fingers get pointed at Evra, don't they, or Rio? Why are we not getting these deals done? What's going on? And it's a lot harder to point a finger at a legend. I mean, it still happens. People are still ollie out despite the fact he's a legend.
Like a scapegoat.
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
football, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was the same. I'm not going to name names, but you know I'm on about with certain coaches under Moyes. They didn't want to stay on because they weren't going to be given the responsibilities the previous had. They were just going to be a sort of a figurehead for the flack. And it was like, this ain't going to work.
No, United are too asked about the appearance of success and not wanting the actual success. That's the fucking problem. We want to look like we're successful instead of actually, do you know what? Why don't you just be successful?
The thing, I've said this all the time, right? If the Glazers aren't going anywhere, if they stop being so fucking thick, they might realise they can actually have the cake and eat it. Because if you invest in this club, you'll get more money back anyway. But they just don't want to do that.
It's not exclusive. I don't like.
Yeah, you know, you're right.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's like they don't see like that. Do you know what I mean? They don't see like
they just don't have the footballing kind.
You look at, and I know I keep going on about it, and it pains me, but let's face facts. They're having success at the minute. Liverpool invested to a certain degree. Their brand and their everything else has just gone up and up and up. And they already had a big fan base anyway, like we did. That's, you know, again, it pains me to say, but it's true.
Yeah.
Same with the blue cunts down the road, mate.
But you know, City were always coming from much a lower level when it came to fan
They were,
base.
which is why when you start seeing kits abroad, which are City ones, you're like...
But they've realised, like, they've expanded and, like, now you can have those summers where you don't have to go berserk in the transfer window because you've already got the squad there and the team there. You just top it up a little bit, which is what they're doing now. Whereas United, we're just like that, up and down, up and down. We back Jose one summer, we don't back him at all the next. We'll back Ollie one summer, we don't back him at all the next. We'll back Van Gaal one summer, we don't back him the next, or we sack him the next one. It doesn't make any sense, that, and it doesn't work as a business model. It doesn't work for a football club, and it doesn't work on any level whatsoever, other than they're still getting their dividends. That's the only way it's working, is for them to get a bit of money. But they could get more money if they had a bit more in sense.
There was there's an ex-player that I know who still lives local, still goes to the games, and he said there was always a classiness about United in everything we did. He goes from Samat, he goes right the way through to Sir Alex. There was always, United always did the right thing. Like, you never see United embroiled in scandals, really. There was always like just a real fucking level of class about everything we did. And he said the last 5 or 6 years, he said, like, the way they got rid of Louis van Gaal, he goes, that just lacked class.
It did lack class, that. It did. It was that really got to me, that, because I wasn't Van Halen. That football was terrible. And let's not have road-centered glitters. I didn't see a goal down mine for 3 months. It was horrible, right? He had to go.
Yeah, I was K-Stanford then.
Oh, yeah. Well, me and you were in the same boat then. And then I was like, I wanted him to go, if I'm being brutally honest. But to sack him the day after the FA Cup final, to not even let him celebrate, was it the night of the FA Cup final? To not let him have that moment.
Champagne, come stand out here for us.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, is Van Gaal not another one that came out basically recently and was saying, when I was in charge, they didn't do this for me.
He had a great interview with Jamie Jackson, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I spoke to James Jackson about it. Actually, worked on that for a long time. Got a really good interview with him, really in depth. Said a lot of things. It was like, wow. Didn't hold back. As you expect with Van Gaal, he was quite, one of those characters. He had a little bit of a wish list saying the amount of players that he asked for or asked the club's looking for.
That wish list was filth.
It was a filth. So maybe it wouldn't have been boring.
We always used to say this about Van Gaal at the press conferences. I know he snapped that time where he didn't storm out, but he walked out the press conferences. But especially when he was there early doors, they used to cut the press conferences very short. And it was surprised me because he was very sort of willing to talk, very garrulous or whatever. And yet he was like, what's going on here? Like, why are these so short? You know what I mean? The press conference, like 3 questions and then 4 questions, that's it. And I think it was almost, he was scared of what he'd say in terms of, like, he would answer any question, and if you asked him a question that he shouldn't, maybe he'd answer it.
Do you know what's mad is I don't really remember watching the Fergie press conferences outside of the occasional Champions League one when it got to the knockout stages, because I think they got round a bit more, didn't they? I only really started watching the press conferences one under Moyes because they were funny. Because he was like, do you remember his first one? He's like,
I was there. Yeah, and
was
honestly,
terrified, wasn't he?
it reminded me of Alexander Butner. I was there for Butner's first press conference where he's unveiling, and it was literally like, what am I doing here? I'll wind up here. And then he went, and then I saw this Ferguson film, and I was like, oh, what am I wearing? And then he came out of my house and he went, you're going to be the new United manager? And I was like, and I'm like, mate, you're United manager, fucking act like it. Don't act like you've just won the lottery. Yes, I get being happy, but
he was
come
overwhelmed
on, yeah.
a little bit.
And then he name-checked Bill Shankly, and that was when I almost started throwing things at him.
I think he might have been overwhelmed because he had such backing from Fergie as well. Fergie.
I mean, it must be great to have Sir Alex come round and say you're going to manage the biggest club in the world. Yeah. That's amazing.
I love how it weren't a question.
But the sheer shock of it was a little bit disconcerting from a fan point of view. I thought, okay, and I admit I tried to convince myself. It's like he'll be all right. Give him time. 6-year contract, that's not an issue. He's getting rid of all the coaching staff. That's okay. He's bringing in his own people. Well,
he's back to Liverpool, to Newcastle and Everton. It's not a big issue. I'm sure 1-0. Do we even have a shot? I don't remember having a shot.
And then you get you realise it is.
How many crosses was it? 88. Listen, this is when Steve Howson fell out with Ashley Young. Was that fucking game against Fulham?
Was that when it started?
28 fucking crosses, Ronaldo. 5 of them were probably no look. You ain't good enough for a no-look cross, you fuck.
Ashley Young. You still hate him?
I don't hate him.
The agenda's still strong, innit?
It's not an agenda. It's just an absolute fucking refusal to accept that he can play football.
I like Ashley Young. Ashley, if you're watching, I've still got your back, brother.
Hey, you're cool,
Take
man.
notice of him. Yeah, you've got
cool.
two out of the 3 people on this panel
Fucking
like
is
it.
Like the hair transplant. It's decent.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah.
What a fucking wonderful head of hair he's got. He's gone out there and just gone,
man.
get to Italy and just fucking was it out.
You don't need hair, man. So, yeah, Ash, come on.
But on reality, I'm going to ask you, because you might be honest on this.
Well, what?
Do you actually sheen that? Like,
I don't sheen it. It's got a natural sheen to it.
How's it?
Yeah.
Do you pick it every morning?
Yeah.
Sorry, so when you're in the mirror in the morning, you're going like this?
Well, don't do it in the mirror. Just in the shower, just all over. Just load of shaving foam on my head.
We got a super chat of Joe Swarbrick. Cheers, our kid. And he says, your lowest point under Moyes.
My lowest point under Moyes was 37 seconds after Paddy Evra's goal in Munich. I was limbs all over the gaff in the Allianz Arena with the other lads. And we looked up and they'd equalised. I hadn't even celebrated properly. I hadn't even finished celebrating. That's how bad it was.
My lowest point was when he was appointed, because I was.
No, it didn't get. It got lower. It got way lower.
I was never.
It got
when I saw
lower.
David Moyes as the replacement, I was kind of like, surely not. After Fergie, you're expecting big things and you're expecting someone a bit more marquee. David Moyes.
I wanted Jose or Ancelotti, mate.
Someone a bit of personality in it, a bit of flair. But
I wanted Jose, mate. I haven't been brutally honest. Either Jose, I know this sounds like, oh well, that's original. Either Jose or Pep.
Come on, man. I didn't want a manager that played Fellaini up front for Everton. And that's what I'm saying. Launch at his chest.
There was a few lows. I remember, was it 4-1 at the Etihad?
Yeah, that was
Rooney had the thing on his
Fellaini's debut, man, I think.
Oh, I remember
That's
we
who-
sat
that's
in
who
there
brought
for
with him, brought
ages.
Fellaini with him, innit?
I remember him bringing on Cleverley when we 3-0 down against the Scousers, wasn't it?
I was with Ben
you've
that
got
I
a
used
great
to do
sense
the
of humour,
pizza
this
club
guy.
with. Me and Ben sitting in there, and we stayed in for ages because they'd locked us in, and everyone had just gone into the forecourt, and there was about 7 of us left in the stand. We was on the top deck, and we were just like, fucking hell, this is like. Got called a Munich cunt walking out as well, dressed in grey, just no clothes on, just
It's
obviously
Tourette's over there.
smell
It's
different.
just you shout it out every 7
Just
seconds.
clearly
regardless.
smell different to everyone.
Yeah.
And we're sitting in there watching, and there's a guy taking a photograph at the front of the stand with an half and half City United scarf. I'm going, look at this dick. And then some fucking bloke walks over to him and says, I've got a scarf, mate.
Oh,
Instantly, I know what's going on here.
Yeah.
And this guy didn't have a pot of glue. And he went, so look at that. And he just went, fuck off, and hoid it over the finger. And he's like, don't fucking do that shit. And the guy's just standing there like, and I went, fair play.
He's only
Can't have half and half scarves. Fucking stop it.
No, you can't. I remember, yeah.
The defeats to City and Liverpool, grim. For me, the actual lowest point was the Olympiacos.
Do you know
game.
what? Yeah, the Olympic. I was at
One
that
of the
one
worst
as well
performances
over
I've
there,
ever seen.
and that was horrible.
That was another Ashley Young.
Yeah, I'm not
going
going to defend him for that one. It was terrible, and I don't think he came out and applauded the crowd as well. The fans. I think there was only. I think I might be wrong. I think Carrick did come out, but most of them didn't. They just ignored us, which was even worse after you just watched that absolute horror show. But you know one thing with the Moyes era. The atmosphere at Old Trafford, amazing. Wasn't it ridiculous? 20 times rang out. 3-0 down against Scousers, 20 times just ringing out.
But it's still like post.
Like City score after 2 minutes and it's 20 times. Yeah, it
Well,
was weird.
I remember the last 3 or 4
high,
Fergie seasons. Yeah. There was an expectation that you would turn up. 19 league games at home, right? We're winning 18. Yeah. That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Yeah. You'll fuck it up against someone. You'll get a draw or someone will beat you. 18 out of the 19, win. So you turn up and go, entertain me. Right? But under Moyes, there was like a collective lit of a, we got to get up for this, lads. Right?
That we've got you.
And the whole crowd went up 10 fucking octaves minimum.
It was mint. It was. The atmosphere was
basically
absolutely
we're going to try back. We got it back.
And it was that defiance as well. You know what? Right? This is rubbish.
Everyone calls us fucking glory supporters, this, that and the other. Fuck that noise. Yeah. Let's make some fucking noise. And to be fair, one of the reasons why Old Trafford had got a bit quieter is because we're about start of the Glazers, actually. Bringing it fucking looping round. Was the stewards got fucking absolutely fascist as fuck. And it was like, there's a sign, wasn't there? Trafford Council, you may not stand except for periods of intense excitement. I'm at the game, I'm fucking excited. That's me, yeah? I am excited to that's me, right? But the stewards would make everyone sit down. Now I was on row PP when I was in K-stand.
PPAP.
PP. It was right at the back, right? Which means that they had to go and tell fucking A to Z and then fucking, I think it was AA to where we was. Sit down. And everyone plays the game, not they? Stuart, right, you be me and ignore me. You be me, look over there at the match and ignore me. Excuse me, mate. Excuse me, mate. You sit down, mate. Excuse me, mate. Excuse me. Excuse me, mate. Excuse me, mate.
Wait, am I screaming or something?
No, you're just watching the game and fully ignoring the steward 3 feet to your right, just watching the game. And then they'd eventually get you, and then, excuse me, mate. Excuse me, mate. Excuse me, mate.
Is he not just allowed to
sorry,
excuse me, mate.
Cal says there's some super chats he just shouted.
Hey up, super chat-tastic. Yeah. LVG did say Woodward has no footballing brain. Fair. Do you think Jose still gets sacked if Zlatan stayed?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Zlatan physically could do it anymore. And even though he kept the dressing room helpful, it was helpful in the dressing room, sorry, I don't think he was going to keep Jose in a job.
Yep.
It's stressful, isn't it? Being a fan at the moment.
But yeah, the atmosphere did come back under Moyes. Because there was the expectation under Fergie, you're just winning 18 and 19. And the stewards making every fucker sit down.
Yeah.
They stopped that. I mean, there's none of that where I'm in the Stretford end now.
Was that just based on safety, though, really?
No, it was just based on shutting everyone the fuck up, basically.
Why? It's fucking football.
Exactly. Why? Exactly. So many things that they do, and you go, why? And you go, nothing that they've done is to improve the atmosphere at Old Trafford, right? Of course, I'm fucking all for disabled fan rights. Obviously,
well, no, the CRA have stepped up.
Yeah, and they have, and they've given that they've allowed them to do that. But at the end of the day, they ripped out the fucking bottom of K-stand and put disabled fans in there, which is a double-edged thing because it's not about them being disabled. It's about the fact that there's now 200 where there was 1,800. 200 make less noise.
I mean, I'm not defending anyone, but was that not like a legal requirement?
Yes, but you could have done it somewhere else.
Okay, all right,
and it's 200 where 1,800 are, and not only that, it's also an awful fucking place to be sat. Yeah. So your fucking wheelchair users, you put them in possibly the worst fucking position. I used to stand where you put them people, and we'd watch the second half usually because they attacked the Stretford end on the bar, like on the telly, because you can't fucking see. So now you've put fucking little lads sitting in there, can't fucking see. Nice one. And underneath away fans who are going to throw flares on him. Top bombing lads. So you've got that in K-stand, and in the centre of the Stretford end, why don't we put the biggest exec area in the fucking ground?
That's I mean, nothing about what goes on anymore makes any sense to me. To be honest with you, it's frustrating. I'm just hoping that this might be a bit of a domino effect. We're seeing that this might be the first. You know, we saw the interview that Rio gave. All right, that was an old interview or whatever. It was pulled up.
Joe, the one person.
Evra's rant.
The one person.
I know what you're going to say, but I'll let you go. I'll let you say it. Fergie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fergie.
Simple. If Fergie said, I've had enough of this, I'm not going back to Old Trafford or whatever, then that's going to ruffle a few feathers.
I'm going to paint a picture with words. You ready for this?
Father.
Do you know what I mean?
Just close your eyes, lads. See if you enjoy this. Fergie, shirtless, in a kilt.
I'm
Right.
there already.
I'm done.
So, sounds like something you'd see in South Park. Or something
Right,
like
Fergie, shirtless,
Another super chat.
that. Yeah.
red face paint on because we're not doing blue. Right,
Right,
yeah.
red face paint on,
Yeah.
and if he gets up on the fucking top of some at Busby Way or his road, named after him,
Okay.
and he goes, "Fuck these Florida cunts.
Yeah.
We're buying our club back. We're fucking doing this, that, and the other. I'll buy it. Who's with me? Freedom."
And you got the biggest rebellion ever.
It would be lovely, but
Starting
I think,
a revolution.
and you know this anyway, but I'll tell you either way. Fergie had his fingers burnt that much now with that. He ain't gonna do it again.
He could do it though.
I know he could, but I think
He's
and-
the
and
one man.
he's,
If
you
he
know,
went, we're gonna fucking raise this money together as fans.
he went up against the owners before. It didn't end well for him, and I think that might have just ended the chance of him doing it again. And
It
also,
might have done,
he's
but
20
his
years older
legacy's
now.
undoing
I know-
it.
I get it.
His
I get
legacy's
it. I
being
get it.
fucking undone
And
by
also,
these
you got to
twats.
remember that Fergie, and I love the guy. I'm not going to say he's been through a lot. Health-wise, he's been through a lot. You know, he's probably just
Jay,
trying to get into the autumn of his life.
shirtless,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
red face.
Stop saying shirtless, man.
Why?
It just doesn't.
Is it
Right, let's get off this subject before he says
not-
something I regret.
is it
Nah, I'm not
true?
gonna say
What's
that,
the
it's
what's
Joe
the
says,
subject? There was
any
another one.
mad/funny stories you've got of nutters at Old Trafford?
Thousands.
That most people don't have a clue.
Go on. There was another
There
one.
was an
as
old
well.
bloke who used to sit next to me that who used to wear oven gloves.
Nah, to be
When it
fair,
was cold.
to be fair, oven gloves are warm.
You know what I'm saying? Usually when you're pulling something out of the oven, like.
I think that's smart. You might be onto something.
All right, but it was weird though. Weird when you're about 9 or 10.
Why
I
things-
remember the biggest fight I ever saw in the stadium was FA Cup. It was Tottenham and United, and they got the whole of K stand once. This is pre-second tier.
Right.
So this is probably late 90s maybe.
Yeah.
And we was where J stand is,
Yeah.
and there must have been 300 people fighting. And I was like, what, 9, 10, just like, what the fuck is happening? Like 200 blokes fighting.
I remember that Sheffield Wednesday in the cup, in I think in 93, 94.
Are you still thinking about
And it
topless
went off.
Fergie?
I'm not thinking about topless Fergie. I'm thinking about oven gloves
Face
idea. Great idea.
What was there another super chat there? I thought I'd seen.
When Januzaj was our only player able to break a line in the final third, tell you what though, Januzaj against Sunderland in that Moyes season, I would have said some outrageous shit if I was on
Yeah,
camera
of
at
course
that
you would
time.
have. Yeah.
Because I was like, he's the new Johan Cruyff. He's like, he was unbelievable, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And then we latterly found out. Here's how the team talks went down. David Moyes went, listen, son, you go play your game. Right, lads, here's the tactics. Right, and then Louis van Gaal was like, here's your tactics. And he was like,
And he couldn't adjust to it.
this boy don't have a fucking clue what's going on, get rid of him.
Yeah.
He's like, and someone at the PR team was like, we just give him the number 11. Fuck him off to Sociedad.
Yeah, that's pretty much how that
So
conversation
mad how
went
that
down.
happens. Manager just comes in and just all of a sudden the whole dynamic of you changes as a player. If
Your face don't fit as
have
a
a
player,
fancies you already done.
forget it. Forget it. There must have been some outrageous talents who a manager just was like, not having him.
It's the worst when it's like a player that's
Danny
on.
Welbeck.
Yeah. No, but it's worse when
Van
you
Gaal came in and failed to recognise the most gifted player in the Premier League.
Nah,
Carted him off to
nah,
Arsenal,
nah.
man. It's a disgrace.
It's worse when you're like on the periphery of like kind of breaking into the squad or breaking into the first team, and then the manager really likes it, and all of a sudden he's sacked, and then someone else comes
Does that
in.
happen to you?
It's not happened to me,
Felt
but
like,
it's
that,
happened.
felt like
It's
that
happened.
was a personal anecdote. That
Yeah,
didn't it?
It's not a personal anecdote. It's
But
a
you know
it's a
people
plus
that's-
one anecdote. It's someone else.
All right, fair
But
enough.
you also did have being black and at Liverpool.
Being black and being at Liverpool.
Being mank as
No,
well.
being black, being mank, and being at Liverpool was a bit mad.
Yeah,
But,
so that was a fucking bad idea going there, wasn't it?
got to take opportunity when it comes.
Who else came in
So-
for you then? You can't. There's no
Yeah.
way. Liverpool aren't the sort of club that just pick up random rough diamonds. There must have been other clubs coming for you at the same time as Liverpool.
I was like 10 years old.
Still,
No, but I had like little bits where I was at the cliff at United and stuff like that, but not really. I was pretty much just playing for Fletcher Moss Rangers. Happened to score 4 in a day.
which is like a 50%
Yeah.
chance of playing in the Premier League. I
Yeah,
think, isn't it?
yeah, big time. Mate,
Who from
I
your
was
years
in the
made it?
I played in the same Fletcher Moss Rangers team the year above me that had Rose Sean Williams and Rashford in it. So they were So that was they were,
So that was alright.
and there was a coach called Mark at Fletcher Moss Rangers, and that was literally his squad, and he had so many players leave that squad and play for academies, and so on. But I think I came just after, now because Rashford and Roshan were at United quite early, but I think when you're early in the academy ages, from like between 6 and 10, or maybe between 6 and 9, you can play for United, but you can also play in the Sunday League still. So I think that's what they did. So then, he was still at Fletcher Moss while being monitored or kind of coached by United, and then the rest was history really. But just basically, Fletcher Moss seems to just piss out academy players.
Well, he's built up that reputation now. That if you're in South Manchester and you've got a kid who's half decent, you're gonna have a tootle down, aren't you? And see if it's worth a go or not. It has got they've just got I think they've just got a grant and been awarded. They're going to be building
Fletcher
some
Moss is just like
banging
famous,
facilities.
isn't it?
But have you seen what the facilities used to look like? Or currently look like?
Nah, the facilities aren't great, but that's not.
They've just had a right injection of dosh, and they're building some banging facilities, which is mint because hopefully that increases the amount of fucking kids coming through.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And live producer.
There must have been other fucking clubs that was coming in the mix for you.
Was that after Liverpool or before it?
Well, either way.
After Liverpool, they would just give you a list of like interest, because I feel like when they're not going to give you something, they kind of shop you in a way where they're like clubs that you might have played against or might have seen you play and just said, would you like him? And it's like, yeah, okay. And it was just teams like...
To be fair though, sorry, go on, I don't want to insult you. I was having this chat with Ant Cole the other day about if your kid, Jaden got scouted by the Scousers, and that was they came in from said, right, would you not say okay then?
Right.
I'll be honest with you. And I think my credentials are pretty clear to see for everyone when it comes to that mob down the M62. But if someone came in from my land and said, if the Scouts came in from my land and said, right, what in the academy, then I'm going to keep close eye on him and what happens to him there. But I'd be like, all right then.
Right, well, there's an exact conversation me and my dad have had. Right,
right, go on then.
Jaden went to City.
Right.
Jaden was at City for a season.
Right, fair enough.
And it's weird.
Yeah.
My dad bought him a load of base layers and went, don't let it touch your skin. That's a true story. That's 100% true story.
It runs deep.
And then Jaden said to him, do you not mind me playing for City? And he's like, yeah, I hate it. He goes, but it says Manchester on the badge, it's all right.
Yeah.
And then he went, well, what if Liverpool come in? He goes, well, you'll find a career eventually. You won't play with broken legs.
The bitterness and hate does go. The bitterness and hate between United and Liverpool goes both ways, because I can only really think about it now. But when I was there, there's certain things that coaches would say, or people would say, or the scouts would say that you could kind of tell was like, it's just a little bit of digs. Basically, they didn't like the fact I was Manc. Didn't like the.
Oh really?
Exactly. So, and didn't like. I was openly a United fan there as well. So
proud of you. Proud of your son.
So
just humming 20 times.
I remember when the 14s coach, I think the Liverpool had a bad result in the Champions League, and then came to training and I must have been banned. Everyone was kind of down because it kind of mixes in when it's the Champions League night at academies and the first team. There's kind of a little bit of a buzz. You get Champions League balls you can train with.
That's sick.
Yeah, etc. And then I was kind of, what was I doing? I was bantering about the fact that Liverpool lost the Champions League, blah blah. And then I got absolutely caned for it. I was like, you don't show any respect for the club that you're playing at, and so on and so on. I was like, I'm just joking.
To be fair, though,
I'm saying?
That's
funny.
If that was on the other side, and you was a Scouser at United doing that under Fergie, you'd have been gone. He would not have had it.
Some 14-year-old cocky little gobshite.
Yeah, giving it like big. I mean,
Fucking what happened to you, Lola?
Fergie. I mean, we told you this story, didn't it, about Fergie used to line up the kitchen staff and everyone when he got beat off the Scousers and tell everyone they were going to get sacked.
I make brews, mate.
It's like,
fucking better. You got to be clinical.
The problems at this club, from top to bottom.
That's a chocky one, isn't it? Though?
Yeah, he said like he popped his head around the corner and see like the whole staff of the club getting absolutely rollicking, and he just backs away. Like Fergie, he said he lost to Liverpool. Fergie like lining everyone up.
Fergie,
he said like literally like the kitchen staff, receptionist, doesn't matter, coaches, staff, all up everyone, and he'd be like, "This is it is symptomatic of the problems at this club. It's not good enough," and because he was just like. Obsessively, we have got
just caned everyone.
Yeah, mate.
Even the staff.
Like Chucky was telling me, like he went there to do some coaching.
Fucking security.
Landed the ladies up.
Couldn't find anyone. He said it was like a ghost town at Carrington. He's like, where everyone's on. Hear Fergie's voice, and he's found him in a room just with all the staff there going berserk. saying it's not good enough. Like everyone. Because he demanded everyone was at the top of their game.
The woman that cleans up's just there, like.
Yeah, like.
I wash underpants, mate.
Yeah. Would you argue with me, though? Would you say, hang on a minute? I just answer the phones.
Unbelievable.
Not anymore, you don't.
Right, we are going to wrap it up there. But before we wrap it up there, I've got a request for you. We'll throw the link in the description right now. Callum, which one? Thank you. There is a link in the description.
Good lad.
Right. Link in the description there for you. Stretford Paddock FC's first ever league game. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but if you've seen it on socials, you already know. He got a penalty. We had a player sent off. But that seems to be just like run-of-the-mill shit for us now, doesn't it? More cards than fucking Clintons.
Red and pens.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to.
All right, sorry.
So we are premiering that at 5 o'clock.
Excellent
9
commentary,
minutes.
by the way. Excellent commentary.
We've got Pundit J and J.
Two J's.
Two J's.
TM.
JJ.
JJ.
On comms. It's a fucking absolute banger of a video. Patterson's pulled it out once again. Go check it out. And we have got our first home game this weekend as well at Drolsden. And unless Boris pisses on our chips tomorrow, y'all can come if you're in the local area. There's also a new show out later tonight, which is the Fan Phone-In. And you can get involved and ring us up. We are using the XX Manchester studio.
Yeah, it's like, remember we used to do it? We used to have Webber, we used to have Joe McGrath, but now it's the two Joes. It's Joe Smith and Joe McGrath. So you'd be taking your calls.
We need a bit more diversity in names here, don't we?
Yeah, Joe.
JJ, Jojo. No, it's nice. It's like nice equilibrium.
Is it?
I mean, yeah, I like it.
And then you got mine.
So if you wanna come and get in the mixer for that, Joe will happily take your calls later on with Joe. Well, like I said, 8 minutes time over on the Stretford Paddock FC channel. Head over there and we'll see you there in the comments pretty soon. Laters.